Hey folks, John with Alternate Arms, your friend in less than lethal self-defense. All right, now guys, we've got one. I told you manage expectations. Let me show you why. Now guys, everybody out there that knows anything about the Umarex line knows that they have been teasing the Generation 2 for the TR50 or HDR50 and the HDP50. And yet in the States, we still haven't actually seen those launchers. Now, I had done some very deep discussions with a lot of the people at Umarex, so I knew exactly what these launchers were internally, and that most of your changes were going to be more or less cosmetic. And I was relatively confirmed. And we're going to take a look at that here in just a second. Now, before I get to it, I want you guys to know a couple of cool things here. Give me a little time. And I mean like a week or two. I'm working on this. I am now on top of being set up with salt supply so that I can supply those for you guys if you like them. Umarex, so I can supply those if you like them. An authorized Berna dealer. So, okay, look, back away from the keyboard there, Hot Rod. Give me a minute. I have got my initial order in for Berna right now on the LEs and the SDs. Now, guys, I'm going to only have those in black. I know they've got a tan color on a couple of them and whatever, but for now, because of the price, you guys know how expensive they can be, I'm only going to carry the blacks, but I am also going to get in some of their accessories as well. So, I will let you know. More likely we'll do a video like we did on the salt supply reveal to let you know when these come in. I want to tell you guys why I'm doing this. This has nothing to do with this becoming a business and wanting to make $1 million. My point here, and the point of my videos, is never to tell you, this is what you should buy, no matter what. This is the one you should always buy. That is not the point of the video. My goal, at least my entire focus here, is giving you all of the information about a particular launcher so that you can make your own decisions. That's what this is all about. And yes, there are pros and cons to every launcher, and you will always get that on my channel. I'm going to give you both sides of this, as you're going to see today. But anyway, you're going to get both sides of it, which is what I've always been shooting for. It's what I want to stay true to myself, and I want to stay true to you. That being said, if it is something that I believe in and it's a product that I have faith in, I will carry them, which means I will also be a direct line of support for you guys. Hopefully that'll help you out too. If there's something I can't answer or repair on a launcher, by now most of you guys know that I can disassemble and reassemble and mod these things in my sleep. Then in the future, I can probably be able to set up direct contacts with people to get things moving if they're not moving the way they should be. So yeah, pretty cool. All right, so today, we are looking at the new Umarex HDP50 Generation 2. Now, I can tell you that the Gen 2s do have the new reinforced valve installed, which is really cool. Now, this is a Gen 1. Guys, I know that everybody out there has seen this launcher about 100,000 times. You know what it can do. You know how easy it is to upgrade and mod. You know how reliable they are. And most of you guys out there know that this is by far one of my favorite launchers we've ever used for that exact reason. Easy upgradability, easy to get parts, and easy to mod, and it's reliable. That's really what counts. Now, this is obviously not a retail box, okay? This is how they ship this to me. Apparently this model has been going to trade shows. So here we go. We're going to crack it open together. All right, now, let's just stop a second. Let's let you take a look at that. All right, can you see it? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it out of the box and I'm going to set it next to the older versions. Now, as you can see, as I pointed out, a majority of the changes with this launcher are cosmetic, but they are substantial, and there is a couple things I do like about it, and we'll go over that here in a second. Now, I'm going to get these up close and personal for you guys so you can actually see exactly what I'm talking about. Now, one thing you're going to notice is the slide has definitely changed. They added quite a bit of context and contouring. They removed the ejection port, which I thought was kind of interesting, and they add some ridges up at the front of the launcher. The sights are still identical. So you have the exact same sights, and on the other side, it's exactly the same with the exception of the addition of the ridges on the front there. Now, the grips. Now, this did change, guys. On the original version, you've got nice contouring on your fingers here, and you had kind of a fake magazine release button right there, okay? And there was no real grip on that. So really, that's kind of where your hand would just sit. On the new one, they have eliminated the fake magazine button, and they have inset this into the grip. Now, what that has done is it's thinned the grip at the top a little bit, and it's given you a place for your thumb to rest. And guys, that's actually a pretty comfortable position. I do very much like how that is set up. I really do. It's got a good feel to it. Now, as far as the rest of it, you might notice the triggers are identical. The feeding port is identical. Now, the striker. This is one thing that I do like. Now, obviously, I'm going to have to revise my buttstock cover, but we'll get into that in a second. Now, so you unscrew this as usual for your CO2. By the way, we're going to get into why we are not going to do a test on this right now, and I'll tell you why in just a second. I know this is the stock 7.5 joule version, which means you knock out the valve, you can knock this thing up to 20 joules pretty easily. That being said, if you look down in here, guys, you will see, hopefully Stumpy's picking that up, that is a Gen 2 valve. So that is the new valve, the new reinforced valve that comes with the CO2 restrictor pre-installed. On this model, I would pull that thing out, maybe. I mean, they're good to leave in there if you want consistency between your shot, but you will lose a couple of joules. You'll gain that back just by pulling that thing out. So either way. Now, a close-up look of this. Now, this is what I find very, very interesting, guys. If you look up close, obviously they changed the shape of this, which is one thing that's cool. But the functionality is totally different. Let me show you something. So we're going to put this in. We're going to screw that down secure. Now, what you would do is typically you'll strike it, correct, to charge it. Now, we have nothing in here, guys. Charge it. Now, you see what that did is it twisted. Let me do that again for you. It twisted and locked into the right. Did you see that? So when I hit it, it went in and kind of locked to the right to lock it into place. Now, that is a double-edged thing, and let me tell you why. Because now you can twist it back, and I'll show you guys this, to release pressure. See that? And then it'll pop open and unlock again. Guys, that is something that's really cool. So no longer do you have to use most of the rounds and then push that button with your finger in order to release the pressure on the back. Now, let's put a CO2 cartridge in here, and I want to see if that changes what it feels like to puncture this. All right, so we're putting in a fresh CO2 cartridge. Oh, by the way, YouTube, these are not firearms. I just thought you might want to know. Yeah. All right, so we've got the CO2 in here. We've got our puncture cap. We're going to pop it. You heard it charged. And did you hear that lock into place, guys? That was actually really, really cool. Now, let's say we want to release that pressure. We can twist the knob, and it releases the pressure. Nice and easy, guys. This is probably the biggest improvement on the launcher right there. Cosmetics, yes, it's beautiful. I love it. It's pretty, okay? Now, here's the breakdown. The internals, and just to illustrate a point, the internals on these guys are identical to the original HDP50. In other words, the valve structure, the striker, the firing pin, it's identical. It is the exact same unit. Original, this is the new striker cap. New striker cap on. Works just the same. Exactly the same, okay? Which means that internally, the parts are still interchangeable with the original. The valve is the same, which means the performance is going to be the same. Now, we talked about this, right? Like I said, and I've told you guys this from the beginning, to manage expectations with this Gen 2, because it's all cosmetic. Most of the changes, with the exception of that really cool striker, and I do like the striker, don't get me wrong, but they're cosmetic, that slide. Right? And the grip, it feels good. It feels really good in your hand, and the ridges up here on the slide and the elimination of the ejection port. That's basically what you see here. I would loved it if they would have added adjustable sighting on this. They didn't, but that doesn't mean that there won't be options for it in the future. And obviously you can put on a speed loader and lasers and everything else. But overall, it's identical with the exception of the cosmetics. Speaking of which, if I'm going to put these side by side here, guys, and I'm going to move this over so you can see it, because one thing I'm curious about, if they change that base, does it change where the speed loader hits? And it does not. So they are identical. So the original HDP50 speed loaders, whether you've already got them or you get them in the future, are going to function on both models. You're not going to have a problem with that. Pretty cool. This unit, like I said, they're not even available yet. When they are available, this will probably be the only unit I'll carry, because obviously who's going to go with the Gen 1 if you can get the Gen 2? Because cosmetically, okay, it's not my job to tell you what you like, okay? I'm just going to say, cosmetically, I actually kind of prefer the look of the Gen 1, because that looks like a 45, especially when you dye them in black. That looks like a 45 with an ejection port and a round clasp that pops the round out. This looks like a 45. It really does. This one looks like totally something completely different. I mean, it does. There's no ejection port on it, which on that one you would almost be able to, you would think that if you saw it raw and didn't know what it was, that the slide was functional. But on this one, it looks like it was actually built one whole piece, and specifically for a reason. As you can see, they are still serial numbered. And as you can see on the back, they are labeled HDP50 Gen2. So those are your big differences, guys. Other than that, there really isn't too much. I do like the fact that they put, okay, that's one thing that's kind of cool on the side here where it says P2P. See that? And on the original, you don't get that. You get the T4E HDP50. So that I don't so much care about, but I do kind of prefer this old look, but I like this bottom better. So I'm seeing some Frankenstein builds coming my way, at least for my own personal one. I'm going to probably rob one of these to put on this, and then, yeah, there you go. But, guys, I wanted to bring this to you to show you the new model before anybody else gets them in here. And, you know, like I said, performance, they're going to be identical. If you want to see what this thing is going to do pre and post mod, jump on the videos. I'll tell you what, I'll throw you a couple links up here. But when they come in, I will have them in stock. I've already got a pallet order of those things too when they show up. So now, there was something else in the box. There was something else in there. Want to know what it was? Ready? Because these, nobody's seen yet. These are the Umarex what they call QAB, or quick access balls. Don't you make a joke about that. Quick access balls. These are the glass breakers that we saw at SHOT Show. We're going to have a video coming up with these very shortly, because the next video I do is actually a user requested by 2 different users. We're going to do a teardown on the HDP50 Compact, all the way down to nuts and bolts and a build back up. And during that, we will fire some of the 50 caliber afterwards so we can see how she does. But as you guys can see, this is the glass breaker ammo that they told us about. These will also be on my website. In fact, hopefully these will be up tonight. I'm going to get a few pictures and get them loaded up there for you guys. They're kind of heavy. Let's say let's weigh a 50 since we're here together anyway, so we can see that. We're not going to do any shooting yet, but hang on a second here. Each one of these rounds is going to weigh 1.37 grams. Okay, that's on a 50 caliber, 1.37. So it's a lighter round. It's probably pretty close. Let me see what the aluminum 50s are. The aluminum 50s are 2.89 grams. So it's about half the weight of an aluminum round, if that gives you kind of any idea. But they're designed specifically to break glass, which I think is pretty cool. And we'll go into a couple scenarios where that could be very handy when we do the video. So, guys, thanks so much for watching. Umarex, hey, I love this design. I do. I really, really love the grip. It's got a little different contouring too that feels a little more sticky. And this cap has been long coming. Thank you for doing that. And by the way, if this cap is universal with that, I'll be picking up a bunch of those caps too, so you guys can get these for your existing HDP50s. So stay tuned on that and I'll let you know. So guys, have a fantastic week. I will be talking to you before the week is out though, because we'll be doing that other video tomorrow. Have a great night. Bye-bye.